I was on for my munina aju UTV so any omeyimo any amahroso in some ayensa kan ya boapo no and no and I do so ya day bramo every Abeka junction ewo enkrako poem na this way chocolate drink osudo hia ensu share special ice ensu ensu emu ode enemu eyekrojin and afi special drinks and also emu gwahodo dope bia no wonbe ma obi ato sa enwuma kuoyi ene aboafo enkae na akabom aso yasene ide enwumre Kasia Bono Bramo Sanso and a DSTV channel 360 Kasia Bono Yetra Eguso na Debedi Emu Akutini bi enye.
Ghana mampanyi nana ado dankwa ekufuado ede atu eja se obeye di obetimi bia se de beya aba ebekwa akoto no ebeya asumdue emu beda ho ama obia ehunu se de besi akọ.
MPP amanyokuo no panyi a wotu franka ede ama wonum wafi abatuo ni mu Dr. Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia yanya ne tie se ene de ni presidential nominations no ya de a wakofale ewo electoral commission wonum asue kesi emu
enkane mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ede atu eja se obesre esum ahodo mpanimfo se ade a wonum ebeye bia no onhwe se womode nokre ebe bata ho ebrebia
si ekwa NDC amanyokwo ni muso national chairman ema NDC yenya ntie se wakofale nominations ede ama onunyanfo John Dramani Mahama ewo yisi asoyekesi
na ora esiedu nketia enso ede atu edwa se wombe ye kire ede etia abato komisa na yedaben
vice presidential candidate Emma MPP Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe edi atudwa say aban bie ni hono mu a obetumi aso Ghana ehaw ano dako
ensempi ka ho na yede ebramo kasebo yimu midi edi akosi asapon ene
afia edi tumwa mrosa
Africa sebo no emu ensem ni mampanyi akufo ado ekopie mu ewo Bar Association Michel Ghana Bar Association womo annual conference aya woye ewo afibia mu no na afiwe no wonum ekokoyeye ewo Asante Mantamu na bra woni omo ekasa no de atu edwa se abayi aye ba betu December da etoso enso no obehye se obeye di obetimi bia se de be asomdwe son beba na afei abana ye ba betu no emu beda ho ama obi ehunu die besi.
As we approach yet another election cycle, it is crucial that we reflect on the importance of peaceful, fair, and transparent elections to the sustainability of our democracy. Elections are not merely a democratic ritual, they are the very lifeblood of our political system. They are the mechanisms through which the people exercise their sovereign will, choose their leaders, and hold them accountable. For elections to fulfill this role, they should be conducted in a manner that is free from violence, manipulation, and fraud. The integrity of the electoral system is the foundation upon which the legitimacy of government rests. When elections are conducted fairly and transparently, the results accepted are accepted by all, even generally by the losers. This broad acceptance is essential for peace, stability, and the continued progress of the nation. However, the history of the African continent is replete with examples of elections that have gone awry. Elections marked by violence, by irregularities, and by a lack of transparency. Such elections have led to disputed results, political instability, and in some cases, open conflict. We should learn from these experiences and ensure that Ghana does not ever fall into the same trap.
Mampani na nado danko akufuado fa kwanya no so ede kokobo ema amanyoko hudo ni nyina se wanya hweye si eto abawie na abato komisan enya mfansunsanso ne matu dwa no mo ede komisan nanim ede nsunsanso no aba betu dwo se ebasa ha adwene papa.
It is imperative that the Electoral Commission remains the sole authority responsible for declaring election results to preserve the integrity and credibility of the electoral process. Political parties must refrain from declaring results before the Electoral Commission does so, as this could lead to confusion, misinformation, and even potential conflict. The EC's role as an impartial and independent body ensures that its results reflect the will of the people, free from partisan influence. This assignment of responsibilities is essential to maintain public trust in the electoral system and to prevent any undermining of democracy through the spread of unverified or false election outcomes. Political tolerance, however, cannot extend to the unfortunate specter of public threats and utterances of violence, which should more properly be the target of the law enforcement agencies as unacceptable conduct and behavior. As leaders, we should set the example. We should engage in respectful discourse, avoid inflammatory rhetoric, and work to create an environment where all citizens feel free to express their views without fear of retribution. Only by advancing a culture of political tolerance can we ensure that our democracy remains vibrant and inclusive.
Ene abrewa eyipuma kwemu ama MPP amanyoko no Franka tufo ewo afi abatoni mu Alhaji Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia wa filing the presidential nominations ewo Electoral Commission aso ekese mu ewo nkran.
It's very important that our country is uplifted after the election. And in this context, I believe that our prayers and our behaviors as we go through and our conduct will be very, very important to ensure that this process is very peaceful at the end of the day. I believe also that we should pray for the Electoral Commission, that the good Lord strengthens them, gives them the wisdom. Pray for the chairperson, the deputies, and the staff all the way through, the returning officers, presiding officers, all the staff who engage in this very difficult task. I believe the EC will live up to the task. Historically, I think Ghana is in a very enviable position as far as the conduct of elections are concerned. And I believe that Madam Chair and your team will live up to it. But let's pray and continue to pray for God's blessings for the EC. I also pray for God's blessings for the new patriotic party, myself and my team, so that we will emerge victorious in this election.
Abato komisa titina ni ma meje mensa eje nkrata no ene ne ode ano bansam ekoye ede magana de hye nyina se mfempene ne aduonu na abato wi Ghana de hye nyina nka omakoma ento omo ye momoda omo na womemo mani ada ho no mpa sa abo womemo mani ada ho no se krodom se de be ya womo emma wantwu bia ma meje afi abato so mema ne omemu nya ada ho no mo fine.
We have no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that the process will be transparent, fair and peaceful. Additionally, we are confident that the 5-day period provided for the filing process, as opposed to the 2-day process prior to 2020, will allow enough time for presidential candidates to correct errors identified in their forms. We are confident that this will eliminate the tensions and rancor that characterized the filing process prior to the 2020 election. Once again, I warmly welcome all of you to the Electoral Commission and thank you, Mr. Vice President, for coming in person to submit your nomination forms. As the returning officer for the 2024 general election, I will now receive your forms.
Mampenyi John Dramani Mahama kopie mu ewo bono mantamu na hinkro sunwane mu na ode nefua ema akomako enan na asi ho se wo kwa akoye campaign ewo ho enefo a etoso mienu no eno na wode eto empanimfo a wonum edi esom ahodo no anim se sesei obesere omo se womo de bibia atudwa ana womo ka asem bia womo hwe so mbeka nokre ne bata ho a eno eboa ma asem a omanfo eti a wombeti ase yie no etimi ekọ wonum asom eyie na no na betimi aboa ama nokra dadi ewo kwan bia so
Kanima mpani John Dramani Mahama na etu Frank ade ama NDC amanyuko de aprobo a eno ne ye nanan aprobo tintim so e wo bono mantam wakopie mu osunyane na ebra wo hia esoma wodo mu akanifo no ene wo de etu wo manim se ebra du se osoma wodo mu akanifo sansam bi ekoso na enkoyie na ohun ne se e wo se kire nsam anim ka ne pepepa wo monya ne pepepa ne mo monya kataso mu amuaso bia mo emfa bia amanyosam embata ho na wo nka oma no amuaso sesabi agira mo a wo hu bebu nani na mo nyo mo sakra man kakra won se nka ndisi aban na teso a enkasa abre nka o ma se kire wo ma no akania ekoso a enye nyina enso ya se nya ndisi aban di no esoma wodo ma kanifo aka wo ma no atum wo se wo mo enka nokre no na entimi emwa se de be ya asomdwe ensem so won se nkan ya ye presi ebenya wo manjaze my Ghana mu no ni nyina no ebetimi awie mu di.
We must not be afraid to speak the truth always. Because if you take both holy books, the Bible and the Quran, it enjoins us to always abide by the truth. And abiding by the truth is being able to say it as it is without fear or favor, without recognition of which government is in office and which government is not in office. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. It would appear that anytime NDC is in office, an atmosphere is created where everybody can speak freely and where everybody can criticize the government. But unfortunately, when our colleagues come in, the whole country goes quiet and it's like people are afraid to speak up. I noticed that even when people want to criticize the government, instead of calling them out for what they have done wrong, they say, you politicians, and they generalize and bring everybody in because they're afraid to directly talk about who is doing the wrong thing. And I think that those are things that we need to look at. Because after all, the actions of the leaders affect your congregation and affect you directly.
And actually, I don't come on to for a Chile, a deputy minority chief whip. I will not say Jim Musem Rashabedwani Banda about one person. On one for Ahmed Ibrahim, Eddie said, dear Etso, or small would work any phone in our enim.
You inculcated the values in us. We have passed it. Stand behind us. Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimiao, he did very well. He came together with all the Christian bodies. And I'm on my pass here. You pass it, also one sign. But we see, on your appointee, he will pass it. But we are passing. But the Chief Justice was appointed by Akufo-Addo. Therefore, he can stop him. And that's why I don't see the bill being assented to. And therefore, there must be severe pressure for your kind. Because the president has already said it is bound to happen. Whatever pressure they give, you must bring counter pressure. Then you come and stand there. Oh, we'll protect Ghanaian family values. Where? Protect them now. We are waiting for you. Jani enanum ye wo homamo omu ba be ye mra a control sorry ya mo manye omu stop LGBTQ ya stop omu we pass it omu ba be twa religious and moral education mu ya mo manye but the time has come for you to stand your grounds and protect the Islamic faith, protect the Christian faith, protect the various faith. Say Ghana and na obiko wo obi sikankuno. I was secondary school. How did we get here? Akola kitwa osi money rituals okokun obi e wakaswa. How did we get here? The time has come for the moral conscience of the country to tackle the president who is sleeping, to take the leadership who is sleeping, and to call for ethical governance. That's the only way.
For yetwa kasia bono eso National Democratic Congress NDC amnyuko no wo mudwemse ni chairman a wone Owura Johnson esiedu enketia enedai wakofale onunyafo John Dramani Mahama nomination forms amano ewo Electoral Commission wonum aso ekasie mu ewo enkran na honom ena ne kasie mu no de to dwa sanya miya doma September bosume ne da toso edu enson NDC amnyuko no ebeti wo hu agumontenso aboko jan ayo ye kire mu odene pa o ye kire kese e de etia Electoral Commission.
We have serious concerns about the credibility of the register, because the voters register is the basis for all the elections. So if you get the register wrong, then everything begins to crumble. It means we are building on a weak foundation. We have said that the register that allows people to be transferred to other polling stations, other regions without their consent is a very, very serious omission in our electoral processes. Whenever you talk about credibility of the register, the response has always been that it is because the register has challenges, that is why we embark on exhibition. But this particular challenge actually rocks the foundation of the register itself, and it undermines the right of the people to choose their leadership and to vote at polling stations they have chosen for themselves. So if it is possible for a voter to be transferred from his polling station to a place outside his region completely, and in this case, the commission has accepted that indeed that has happened. So we ask ourselves, then the protocols for the transfer and the safeguards against transferring people against their wish have been breached. How is it possible that these protocols the commission has been calling robust, on their own admission have been breached so easily? And so it undermines the confidence that we have in the voters register. As I stand here, I don't know that the day I'll go to cast my vote in Bono, I'll be told that my vote is in Bolga. And I think that this is the reason why we are calling for a complete audit of the IT systems of the Electoral Commission to try and answer the question as to why. Is it possible for any district officer anywhere who decides to transfer names of people to places not of their choosing? Is it possible? And they have said that it is possible. If it is possible, then we are not safe. And so we want an independent audit of the system. And if there is a way of breaching whatever protocols they have in place for transferring of names across country, then we will find ways of checking that one. This all generates some amount of suspicion and all that. And so those of you who have been asking us, if they don't comply, what will you do? This is your answer. On the 17th of this month, the NDC is embarking on a massive nationwide demonstration in all 16 regional capitals. Descend on the Electoral Commission offices, and we in Accra will descend to the headquarters and present further petitions as to why we think that they should conduct themselves in a manner that will guarantee peaceful, free, and fair elections.
Doma Mahine eye osagefo osiade yo ajimanbedu otoso mienu na ode atu edwa hechese de abato komisa oye no enya de a ese fata ewo abato nwumanim wode nsemu anyina atudwa abra enka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama wode nani akire bono ene ne mantam anase omanfo a ewo ho a wo kwakohia wo mo nefu anan a wode asi woko akwakobọ ntoa no ena okochia nana okọ ne naso ekosere kwan so obetimi ene ne manfo adi nkita ho ana eno ena doma manhene ekire se wo se abato komisa sorry na oye na dwuma yie wo aba ye ba beto isan se si e ka asumdue a se beba o man mu a ebi ejina no so
registration ya be register to be na ya bibi e wo na no baba ya transfer of votes na de na saade wo e de twitwitwi aba nti ho nti baabi bebree amre ntimi mamenka binim wɔ ha nipa bɛɛ mpemienu mpemiensa mpemenan bedini bɛyi afiri hɔ ɛde kɔ baabi saa nipa koro yi ɛnyɛ baa bɛpɛ nyɛ bɛkɔ electoral commission hɔ sɛ bɛnyi bedini mfirim na ɔno deɛ ɔyɛ dɛ ne ba na adeɛ no wotie a yɛ akɛseɛ yɛsorɔ bɛ ɛduru baabi a na fa baabi bɛpɛ sɛ a bibi na ɛkɔ so sɛ bɛde yɛ bukata na sɛ bɛsisi yɛsrɛ electoral commission for saa deɛ no bɛnhwɛ ne yɛyi electoral register obiara register ne di ne wom bɛmfama party for ade a mesrɛ electoral commissioner security agencies aba na ɔte so mmea de hyɛ na adoda nkwa Akufo-Addo 2020 elections no me manhu ne yie manhu ne yie kwana mfa so a manhu ne yie ni ya tachiman bantu aba tachiman sɛ sapo sɛ ne ɔka ho abatoɔ yɛ nyinaa yɛkɔ polling station ne yɛkɔto aba na anyɛ saa nananom yɛkɔto aba no a bɛkyerɛ nipa dodoɔ a bɛwɔ register num ba bɛbɛto yɛ ne ebi yɛnya yɛ bɛntali bɛntwɛ ne bɛpɛpɛ pin sheet bɛnyi ne mfa ma ɔyɛ dɛ ne yɛ nyinaa yɛkɔto aba ba declare wɔ polling station na bɛkɔ akɔka bom wɔ baabi a yɛ nyinaa yɛhyia sɛ bɛkɔ ka bom ɔyɛ dɛ ne tuo kɔto ɔyɛ dɛ ne tuo to ɔyɛ dɛ ne tuo to because it's believed sɛ adeɛ no a bɛkyekyerɛ ne nyinaa no obiara wɔ ne deɛ yɛka bom ɔyɛ dɛ ne tuo tim kɔto ɛma nipa bɛyɛ nsia nso anaa nwɔtwe bɛyɛ dɛ bɛhwere bɛnkwa ɛfiri saa mmerɛ nyinaa saa adeɛ siɛ na ano nkoa na nhu sɛ court ahyɛ sɛ bɛma bɛsika na nɔkorɛ ne nhu sika abɛde ɔma bɛ no nɔkorɛ ne mboafu sɛ menhwere gye hye a 200,000 300,000 bade ma nipa na ɔbɛba soja aba ne koraa bɛsesa no a yɛkɔto aba foforɔ 92 96 Ghanafoɔ wote sɛ bi wuyɛ afi wei deɛ yɛsrɛ electoral commission yɛsrɛ titro polisifoɔ no bɛbɔ saa adeɛ wei ho bane sojafoɔ deɛ koraa bɛmmam afi wei deɛ sɛ de hyɛ bi ɛho kaa yɛne bɛdi no nyɔnyono no yɛde hyɛ no yɛmpɛ sɛ bi kokromoti koraa yɛ dɛ ɔka
Awusanfoɔ yɛtwa yɛn ho abasisia.
Kase bono eso.
Yo. Yeah, the more Electoral Commission wonum aso ekesem headquarters wonum na eno ene enya ntiese ene de national chairman ema NDC amanyoko no eye Owura Johnson esi edunketia ekofale onunyafo John Mahama ni nominations edemano.
From our rounds, there are all indications that change is in the air. And so we just crave your indulgence to secure the peace of the country before, during, and after the elections. We wish to urge the Commission to also play their role as a neutral umpire. We have concerns about the process so far, and I believe we are engaging, and that is the purpose of the engagement, so that we can get mutual conclusions that are acceptable to everybody. But we are not going to sleep over our rights at all getting into these elections. And so we are hopeful that the Commission will listen to us very well and discharge their responsibilities in a manner that will be satisfactory to all participating parties.
Indeed, without this process, the Commission cannot run the election. And as you may be aware, I'm referring to the filing of nominations by presidential candidates who are seeking to contest the 2024 presidential election. Regulation 7 of CI 127 enjoins a presidential candidate to complete and sign 4 copies of the nomination forms. Additionally, the forms are to be signed by no less than 2 persons who are registered voters in the area of authority of each district assembly. The presidential candidate is also required to designate a person to serve as his or her vice presidential candidate. Furthermore, the candidate is required to deliver the forms to the Commission on the date prescribed by the Commission. As in 2020, the Commission has established 2 teams which will review all forms submitted. The technical team has been tasked to scrutinize the forms submitted to ensure that the presidential candidates meet the qualifications as set out in law, namely that the candidate is at least 40 years of age, that he or she has satisfied all tax obligations, and that he or she has nominated the vice presidential candidate amongst others. The second team, namely the IT team, has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing the voter ID cards of all presidential candidates and their supporters, so as to verify whether the candidates and their supporters are indeed registered voters. Both teams have been provided with training, and we have no doubt that they will conduct themselves in a fair but firm process. Yes. We are confident that the 5-day period that has been provided for the filing of nomination, as opposed to the 2 days prior to 2020, will allow enough time for the presidential candidates to correct any errors on their forms.
Onmonyamfo Haruna Idrisu ono na ye mrahye awo Tamale South na ye ka say wadan ne campaign edi ewo ne mpesua ne so eni ntini akukudam ema running mate ema nkane mampanyi John Dramani Mahama edene ni monyam kota na chi afei owura ofosu ampofo enso de ni monyam ekota na chi sanso ena asawase mrahye bedwani eye onmonyamfo Alhaji Muhammad Mubarak Muntaka ono so ko na wogina simpie so de to NDC amanyoko na chitafo enim se womo enye wonu mani yakoto aba no a na se yekenkan a obia mie nani yie na wonfe fanhwe se de be ya obia nwia womo sese womo na be ye womo a ebe hwa ma womo se de be ya obi emphasis enna ne womo nan abato nhyehyeye mu no se unya 50+1 po a wadi nkunim eno ene omo ehwehwe ene nkunimdie no so ebeba wo no mafa nti omo nhwe na omo nhwe bibia fan se de be ya obi enwia wo mo
what I'm really saying is that by the grace of God, this year, with the wind that is blowing, this wind that is blowing, the air that is blowing all around, there's no doubt that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to be the next president of this country. You have shown us that by the grace of Allah, the 4 seats that we have in Tamale are safe. We thank you. You've also shown us that the gold that we have, which is Honorable Haruna Jusu, we can be rest assured by the grace of Allah. Only God knows where His limit is going to be. This year's election, as everybody knows, election in Ghana, to win is 50% plus 1. That one could be me, that one could be you, that one could be everybody. So from your polling station to the collation center, don't underestimate a single vote. And the best way to do it is that after you vote, when you go home and take some rest, once it's 4 p.m., just get your boots and we'll be ready for a long haul. Match yourself to the polling stations in your numbers to ensure that proper counting is done. After counting, please follow your ballot box to the collation center. Please do not allow collation to be suspended. Once they start collation, they must finish the collation. Honorable Haruna, I salute you. And therefore, my prayer to you is that let us vote for John Dramani Mahama. Let us vote for Honorable Haruna Jusu, because John Mahama and Haruna Jusu, we serve a God who doesn't sleep. Some people say their God sleep after 24 hours. Our God is a God who works around 24 hours. So our 24-hour God will help John Dramani Mahama and the NDC to implement our 24-hour policy in order to give jobs and progress to this country.
Omanpanyi abedi echire awo nwanso na etu franka ede ama MPP amanyokono ewo afi abatuo ni mu meche Dr. Mahamadu Baumia wakasa memundo de atudwa say efi 2017 a MPP wonom ede free SHS ebaye no wose aboa papa esanse kane no na akodabu onuma wotimi twa pa nanso enam se sika ni fienti na wonya kwan enkoranto aso sukumu ena wato na edisua so nanso MPP adama womode free senior high school baye no wo say sabi ohiani ba etumi ko secondary school ena osikadi ba so tumi ko bia eboa ama enwumasua etumi akonkan titiru ene entoaso enwumasua no Ghana mampani abedi echire wono aso na etu franka edi ama NPP amanyoko no ene Dr. Mahamadu Baumia na wada na di se free senior higher 2017 wo mo hyase no abeyi konua bebre ene de free abatan komu ene abebie kwan so edi ama secondary education esanse nei nipa bebre enya kwanya etimi ko sukuu na emfa ho ni won sikasem senia esitie wosimre bi atwam amna kase ana da ememme etimi ko sukuu ni ema etimi ko sukuu ntem no ene free senior high abeka bom amia amatokro no sikura wade nsemi tu dwabra na wokasa ewo fetu afahye ase ewo ogwe ya wei eya afahye no ne etoso aduosia wato aso echire mu hia se omanfo nyina ka won ho bom eboa emaka bi mamenka bi amamu ekoso titru afi akoya abato afi no.
Since we introduced the free senior high school education in 2017 and removed the barrier, such unfortunate dropouts are a thing of the past. From the 800,000 total enrollment in 2017, enrollment has now increased to 1.4 million, an increase of over 600,000 students in 7 years since the implementation of the free senior high school education. And also, thanks to free SHS, there is now gender parity in senior high school enrollment. At the beginning of 2017, for every 100 boys in senior high school, we had 68 girls. By the end of 2023, for every 100 boys in senior high school, we have 106 girls. Remember that elections are not just about choosing leaders. They are about choosing the direction in which we want our country to go. It is your opportunity to advocate for the issues that matter to your education, employment, healthcare, and the environment. Do not allow others to decide your future for you. It is in your hands to take charge.
Probia Asante Kotoko hino tumfo se twa bebio na wodwumedie yase wode to nananmo himfo na omanfo ewo ogwa anim se wonka wo hommom nya adwumaden se na be ya mantam no befa ne ntoma pa ede efra afen so okasafa enwumasua ene nsrahwe eho ewo mantam no mu egina so ede 500,000 Ghana cedis eboa Osaberi ma educational fund
na mudi afashe de yesre ne se nkoso beba Cape Coast memo saa so ne yesre gwa manfo nyina so mo nyina so kwa no mai entumpon ma obi ban be ye ya ne free mu nipa wo mu wo na beboa ma na ye e wo say mesra nipa ne nyina so mo mo ano na bi ya on betua ye de aboa ma na koso no o say amma so ate se o man hine pese wo ye foundation wo de be ebehwe nkola ne enwuma yamma so ate nti asantima ya se ebe ma no 500,000 no de afiti ase this what no de toaso ne man for so mo ano nka ho na empaja ne nye ma yenye
ogwa man hine Osaberi ma kwesi ata otoso mienu eda Probia Asante Kotoko hine otumfo se tutu ase papa kire se
otumfo na aye de abiri ama Professor Mama Kenjiro, Abeshe Yeminyam Kese, Sikara Azaba, they create a fund. The function here from one school called Wadisia, want to say Yamisho. Na Mama periodic reports of how we have used it. Oh yeah, ibinum what may binum eya. Ebawa na ebi afi binu kutokum. Onye mbanadam.
Ebusan ye je aboafo nkrato abasisia. abusuafo ye mamo akwa abaye to akasebo no eso na enka ne mampanyi John Dramani Mahama kopie mu ewo wanchi na okochia wanchiman hene eno na wode eto nanim sesese ye kom wom pa na ekom no a ewom no obesre se nyame adom na oba omo mebie factory bi wo ho se de be ye mabu na ewo ho no wo mo kashiwa wo mu dua no omo betumi ede akọ factory akoton wo mbeto omo to na mabu na ewo ho no so enye adwuma ye
when we any factory back okra 1D1 man ye nya ba kwa ma ye nananom ye ma ye nuanom ye fa ye mama e kom de o wenchi mu ejuma ni hakra enti ama babuno ne ma ensese omo ye na omo ye is this an semester bedroom ye o de anya hwe kra no my factory back anya hwe kra no cashew factory ye pe cashew factory back isan se Ghana man mu a ko bia ni wa o cashew se wenchi man enso ye ni factory back kra ese so best dom ye cashew factory back be process factory no anya bia be wine enye se abibia na ye export nko a ye be show ye ni mjumadi a odi wo eba no apomudin a hospitals a ye ma Ghana man ye be show wenchi man yeso ye kan Ghana ho yeso etua tax ye be show so my hospital kese back
na say enyoma bi esi a enyema ye kame mameka bia membo mabreso se ye mpuntu a ye ma Ghana nyina emfa ho se woto aba ma sa party no anase wanto aba ama sa party no nso se na se mfie wotwe mu ye mampanyi aka wo bebi bebre se metwa meni ejamo efi se minipa aka be se monto mano no monto amano oko ekumfie okasa oko ton abransio eyiri fa enkrofo nioma okase ne ede me aba ha ene se me mampanyi na enye se moto aba ma minti enti mehwe se emfie wotwini na wohwe wenti na wohwe abakosema etasa kroyechi efa enye NDCO efa MPP party nankasa ene obeka se ebia bebia moto mo abafa ye no anye omampenyine de so ye Kristoni so ye Muslim ye nyina ade ba ko a Bible ni Quran eka che ni se yendi nukrechi mayemfa yefun emfa ndi entrochi enti minim se ye koto abai omonye sika papa ombeba beje mo momo numbers near the 500 afam mesremo sa sika no eyamo amusika enti sa sika no eba eyewo dia ekoma de wo enfie wotwe enso se etua oka enso eyewo awusika enti eba e se woje na wodi enso wokoto waba e se woto waba bebi anokre no wo
awuzanfo yetwa kasebo no eso UTV yatamia cameras e de ato yekọ ho yakọ apro ewo agbogboloshi market eno ewo enkran na sentem na enema bo ekosoro papa ugina ho na woto na sabi wakoma nyina na eho hyehyew na yakọ market ekobisa ase sese enema bo no eda so kosoro anase eso ate abafom bibi se ntosi je ne mako ne nyadoa ene hye da kobusebusa bo no na kanena na eja ntosi bo edenden yakọ no yate so akese bo no abafom na ne na dwadifo ne kire se say ebo na aba form no nche se omanfo tu egusu to ni gidigidi saa o da bi enti sa ne to no krampo no aba form nanso hwe jenne mako ene nyaado ne de a o sister na ebo no e wo soro kakra omanfo ebre ho ansana omato
to se no ye kokofa wo adan ene anwonaga enti udru nwura mu ho a ese nto se e season adru adan ne anwonaga enti kumasefo takradefo wini ba the whole Ghana e ho ne yeko a ye fa no 1900 na ye de aba na ya beton enti nkran de edru season we na adwuma no enye de kumasefo ne takradefo ne bo wa mo na ye wa ha ne de omo ade ba na ye gina mo aton
yana ne boy de ne fidoma doma hinkro the whole Ghana a hopen na ne ma wo ene nso ni so say no enti ne owo kakra no ne ope ene obeton ama wo doma ne de na nya nipa nyina so na timi kodwa eno kan wo bi ne ma ne boy ye din bebre basket omo she 200 200 na we 200 250 eni ba bia ya kura ntos ya fan she fridge wo de she ko room kura na wi ba ba na sai tene dia an so ba awade mo ane ento
sesi amoni bo ba fam no mo ntumi nto tinu bo edi mo mutumi to anu de bo bi obeto bi o mo to sesi abu no mo obu bi wo from po mo mfi wo from no mo ko tinu bo edi mo anu bo mutumi to ni ntem
chili pepper no enu botton ye 6 million e bi ye 40 million anu se di ba pent rubber no ye 80 Ghana basket ye 25 nyamia dom kakra e to da contem e to da so en contem
basket ye wo 2 kinds to one 3 million Kasiano 5
ono boy dey
any hopo na apoto so apart from say any one so apoto obeto na ne bebre asai you enter papa bia say na abeto me din sa no enter papa bia I want say ebo na ye den nti amuntumi nto
wey 20 cedis na meto no first wey ye dia ma wo no aborden aye 10 cedis we abo na we kwampo na nya fresh your friend akomi just say ya abre nti no we ka don komi anka 5 cedis na was enka meto no na me ton so akwakoton but ye de ma me 20 cedis nti say we me di kogu na me ye ne 4-5 cedis na ya nto a just me so ma boka no but to na was meto
kotodwe no we na ye 10 cedis e me kan ma efiefo na o mo so de akwaje 12 cedis nti nyame wo ye bi ma me de ye to mami am so menya bidie menya bi hwe me ma school e me ntwitwa ye no me wo 70 ho me wo 80 ho
Ebusiafo ha se na ye de kasebo no esie na ye kai mo se pepsodent ubetwi se ukwa akoda no watwi utwi a eboa pa monum te kama obesore no wanum hwehwehwem anopa no so sore a e wo se utwie se de be ya ni nyina ebebo ose no ho ebanti eya afa pepsodent cavity fighter na fatwi ose no na emmo ose no ho ban afa pepsodent charcoal pepsodent herbal triple action protection eno ena eye pepsodent enka na kra na ye ka de aditwi yesen a aposin bia no yese eye pepsodent enti eno a ena ye di etwi yesen enti uso misrewa akone kopa bito se de be ya no abusuan ni nyina no ye bebo mo se no ho eba mi din e de akosi asapon mene
afia edutumbo a mo sa ye da mo se ema momo ene hwa enyaado